The Skoda Octavia is back, and it's back with a bang. This is the Octavia RS and it's 265 horsepower of good clean fun. Over 4 generations, the Octavia range has always been topped by a sporty RS version. Unfortunately, the 4th gen Octavia that launched in India in 2021 and was discontinued in 2023 didn't get one. Things change with the car you see here. It's based on the facelifted Octavia, so let's talk changes first and RS specific details. This is the facelifted Octavia and it's identifiable by these new headlights which get this new DRL signature that flows into the bumper. Now, among the RS details, of course, is that badge. You get a blacked out grille, more aggressive bumpers, and you also get an air curtain at the sides. The sporty elements work really well with the crisp styling. At the sides, it's got this hunkered down stance, and that's thanks to its sport suspension. The standard fit sport suspension lowers ride height by 15mm, but what is a cause for concern is the 128mm unladen ground clearance figure. Not a problem on the racetrack, but it could be an issue on big speed breakers. Now, among the other things, this one rides on 19-inch rims. They really do a lot for the look, but I'm not a fan of the design of these wheels. They have these aero inserts which I don't think go with the character of the RS. Identifying elements at the back include this lip spoiler. You get an RS badge, blacked out detailing for the lower section of the bumper with this contrasting reflector. The cool thing is that these openings on either end are actually home to functional exhaust pipes. Now, being an Octavia, it also has a very practical side which is clear for all to see when you open the tailgate. You get 600 liters of luggage capacity. The rear seats split and fold down flat to make even more space, and Skoda has also thankfully packaged in a space saver spare tire at the back. Color options include the striking Mamba green, candy white, race blue, velvet red and magic black, and the RS looks the business in all. That's something to say about the interior too. The Octavia RS's interior is quick to establish this as a car with a sporty side, and that's got a lot to do with the colors and textures used inside. You get this suede finish on the dash top, contrast stitching here, a carbon look element on the dash, and it all comes together really well. Perhaps what makes the biggest difference are these sport seats that get these integrated headrests, look really cool, hold you really well, and what I really like is that they also get adjustable thigh support. The seats get power adjust, memory, massage and heating, but there's no ventilation function. Now, of the other elements on the inside, the steering wheel is good to hold. It gets this perforated finish. The paddle shifters sadly are a bit small and look out of place in a car which has a performance side. Now, in terms of tech features, you get digital dials. Again, they get quite a few themes and are good to play around with. The touchscreen has grown in size. It's now a 13-inch unit and it's slick to use, packs in wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay and the like. What I do wish was Skoda to have given rotary knobs as they have on the latest Kodiaq. You still have to rely on the slider for volume control, and even the air conditioning controls are hidden in the touchscreen and it's not the most user-friendly. I'm not a fan of the stubby gear selector either. The Octavia RS does pack in quite a few features. There's only one variant, and aside from the seats, digital dials and touchscreen touched upon already, the RS also gets matrix LED headlights, head-up display, a 360-degree camera and an 11-speaker 675-watt Canton sound system. Safety kit includes 10 airbags, including a center airbag between the front seats. There's also ABS, ESC and ISOFIX child seat mounts. Also part of the package is ADAS with features like auto emergency braking and adaptive cruise control. But how well they work in Indian conditions is something we'll have to wait to experience outside of track confines. Moving to the back seat. Now, if you're buying the RS for yourselves, these are not the seats you would want to occupy all that often. But your family members will tell you that it is still a pretty comfortable space at the back. Now, I'm just under 6 feet tall. The front seat is set to my driving position. I'm okay on knee room. I'm quite comfortable on headroom as well. But you have to remember that the Octavia doesn't get a sunroof at all. Another point of note is that because the front seats are so large, your view from the back to the front is slightly restricted. Now, talking of amenities at the back, you get a dedicated zone for the climate control system. You get these pop-out cup holders on the center armrest. All 3 seats get adjustable headrests, but there's no rear sunshade. That's what the Octavia RS is like outside and inside. Let's get to the heart of the matter, the engine. It's a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo petrol unit that makes 265 horsepower and 370 Newton meters. If you know your Volkswagen Group engines, you'll know this as the EA888 and that it's in the same spec as on the Volkswagen Golf GTI. Power goes to the front wheels only via a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. A sport exhaust is standard, and here's a sound check. That's a quick overview of the specifications. A short spin at the Buddh International Circuit gave us a brief taste of how everything comes together. First impression, it's a very gutsy engine, really nice and happy to rev, grant you the speed you're looking for. Skoda claims a top speed of 250 kph for the RS, but a side note here. Now, the thing with the BIC is that it makes even really fast cars feel a bit slow. So I know that the RS is going a lot faster than it's feeling. Okay, now back straight, full throttle. Let's see what we can do. 120. I'm sorry for the background sound effects from the speed warning. 180, 200, and thank you very much. 0 to 100 kph takes a claimed 6.4 seconds and is satisfyingly quick. There's also how it takes corners. Having grown up on a diet of front-wheel drive cars, you will not get really intimidated by the way the Octavia RS behaves. Yes, it will understeer when you really push it, but that's the point. It is an everyday car that you can push. There's an electronic differential lock that breaks the inner wheels in a corner to keep the line tidy, and also an electronic limited slip differential to send more power to the outer wheel for sharper handling. Clean steering, very VW Group, safe, slightly clinical, but still fun. Drive modes help you set up the powertrain and steering to your liking, but the India market RS doesn't get dynamic chassis control that brings in adaptive dampers. It's still a bit soft, I would say, in its suspension to really be a track star, but as an everyday car that you could also bring to a racetrack, I think it does its job really well. This is going to be a car you can have a lot of fun with. Okay, about the exhaust, it does have a sporty note to it. There is a bit of a bassy rumble that you hear in the background, but I think if you really value the sound your car makes, perhaps an exhaust upgrade will be necessary. You have to remember that this is a car for many that will just serve as the base for modifications. So you could go to town with all that you could do with the engine, the suspension, the exhaust, and so on. Of course, do so only with people who know their stuff. And if you're okay with voiding the standard 4-year or 100,000 kilometer warranty. But if you're like me, who wouldn't touch his car and would leave it as factory spec, I really don't think you'll have reason to complain. Good, friendly performance, predictable handling. What's not to like? Love at first drive? I think so. But only a longer test outside the track will tell us how good the Octavia RS really is. There are lingering doubts on ground clearance, ride comfort on poor roads, and performance and handling in real-world driving scenarios. I, for one, can't wait to get my hands back on the Octavia RS for a more wholesome review. Thing is, as good or bad as it may turn out to be, you can no longer buy an Octavia RS. The first batch of 100 cars is sold out, deliveries for which have just started, and Skoda insiders say they have another 250 orders in hand that will get priority allocation if another batch of cars is imported. What's remarkable is the interest in the Octavia RS even at its 49.9 lakh rupee ex-showroom price. It's downright expensive by older Octavia RS standards, but the inflated price hasn't stopped it from being lapped up by petrol heads who are left with little choice of fun petrol cars to choose from. In fact, the closest alternative is the Golf GTI, which, you guessed it, is also sold out for the moment. What do you think of the Octavia RS, and would it find space in your dream garage? Let us know in the comment section below, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the Autocar India channel.